Hello everybody, my name is NCegs, and today I'm going to be starting my Black Ops 4 tier list series, which is going to be a 4-part series going over casual, competitive, and weapons and specialist. I do this about every year for Call of Duty. The reason why it's taking me so long to do it in this COD is simply because two things: laziness and just forgetfulness. And also, I just wanted to make this tier list actually like well-rounded. You know, I want to make it structured. I want the game to be more structured before I make the tier list. But besides that, I want to talk about quickly what the tiers mean, so that way you get a better understanding of where I put these guns. So I essentially do S through D. D is the worst, just terrible, it's trash, never going to be used. C is for more situational purposes. B is just the average. It's it's not good, not bad. A is like the majority of a population. Basically, it's the majority of guns you'll see or specialists you'll see being used. And S is either overpowered or just the best gun in the game. That is just it's not that it's unmatched. It's just that it's for some reasons it's just like maybe easy enough to use. It's just overpowered. It's just guns or specialists that you'll just see 99% of the time. And so since we are done talking about what those tiers mean, let's just get straight into it. Oh, one more thing. Because this is BO4, they've added an operator mods. I will be talking about operator mods when it comes to the casual side of this tier list series, but not competitive, because competitive, they have operator mods banned. But with that out of the way, let's get straight into this. We're going to be starting off the assault rifles. I'm going to be listing off the assault rifles by how they are shown on the screen right now. So starting off the ICR, I have an A tier. Now the ICR does not have any operator mods. And to me, if we're talking about casual play, to me this is just one of the easiest guns to use in this game. It's just, it doesn't move once you put grip 2 on it. It's just one of those noob-friendly guns that you can just run around, have a bunch of fun with. It's very noob friendly. You can put FMJ on it, grip 2 for the reduced flinch. It's a gun that I feel like a lot of people are going to start off with and level it up fast and just get used to it. It's just going to be one of those guns where I feel like a lot of people get it gold first. Just overall very easy gun to use, very good gun, good fire rate, good damage, great accuracy, easily A tier without a doubt. Moving on, we have the Rampart. Rampart, I actually have S tier, and for good reasons. If you look at the attachments, you can put High Cal 1, High Cal 2, FMJ, and FMJ 2 on this. I don't really need to say anything else if you're playing BO4. I mean, High Cal, we all know, does increase damage to headshots, and High Cal 2 does increase damage to the upper chest. Add that along with FMJ 1, FMJ 2, which is just maximum bullet penetration. You could melt people no matter where you are. Behind a wall, should up gunning them. The Rampart overall, though, has some mediocre stats in like accuracy and fire rate, but again, it makes up for what it can bring to the table. This thing can be an absolute powerhouse with using the attachments. Even not using High Cal 1, High Cal 2, this thing can outgun multiple other ARs, I believe. But overall, just a very solid gun. Has high damage. I relate to it more as like a SCAR, maybe, with lower fire rate. But I'd mainly put an S tier because of these attachments. These 4 that I have selected right now, are just, it makes it possibly the best gun in the game for a casual player. Moving on, we have the KN. The KN I also have an S tier. It's simply because of 2 reasons. You have rapid fire on it, you can have quick draw, and you can have stock. Having stock on an AR is obviously very valuable. Having quick draw on an AR is very valuable, but rapid fire is what makes this an S tier weapon. This weapon is already A tier without it. I believe that this gun is actually very underrated in casual and competitive play. It has very good damage. I believe the second highest damage in the category, with better fire rate and accuracy than Rampart. It's very easy to control. The recoil pattern is not hard at all. It's very noob friendly. A lot of newer players are going to gravitate towards this gun, I believe, because it's it's the AK of this game. Normally, the AK variants of every COD are very well rounded, but having a rapid fire version of this when the KN is already a top 3 AR in the game makes it just even better. And yes, I did say top 3 AR. I personally do believe that it's actually a top 3 AR in the game, especially when adding rapid fire. So I believe the KN is well deserved of an S tier ranking when having rapid fire on it. It does not have an operator mod, so no need to talk about that. And now we have the Vapor. The Vapor, I have a B tier. It's just a well-rounded gun. It's all right. I would probably say that these attachments is probably what you would see in a casual standpoint. Something like this is what you see from a casual. The operator mod actually is a bayonet. Not that good. Not that good at all. It's a very average gun. It's like a worse Maddox in my opinion with a little higher fire rate, I do believe. Actually, no, the Maddox does have higher fire rate than that. Wow, I did not know that actually. It seems like the Vapor has higher fire rate. But I think the gun is good, but it just gets outclassed by guns like the KN and Maddox at close ranges. So it's like, why would you use that? Then at ranges like an ICR, it just gets completely demolished, and then with versatility, it just gets outclassed by the Rampart. So I would just have it a B tier, just an average gun. Bayonet does not increase it at all, in my opinion. Moving on, we have the Maddox. The Maddox I have an S tier. It is just it's the best gun in the game by far. It doesn't have any crazy attachments. It has Quick Draw 1, Quick Draw 2, and stock. This is probably the class setup you'll see in competitive, or not competitive, well, competitive, but for casual, this is probably what you see. A lot of tryhards if you're gonna use this gun. It's basically the most versatile gun in the game. When it comes to assault rifles, next to the Rampart, I would say, if not better than the Rampart at versatility. Can easily beam people at long ranges with this thing with ease. The recoil pattern is very easy to learn. The fire rate is not. The fire rate doesn't like make it kick really at all. It's just a very easy gun. It's a very noob friendly gun. The only thing that I was considering actually putting in A tier because it's actually the last thing you get in assault rifle category, but I just couldn't, just because again it's a tier list. We have to go by what's the actual gun, and this gun is just easily it's the best gun in the game by far, casual and competitive, and it just has to be S tier. Echo Fire is kind of a weird one. Echo Fire essentially makes the I believe like the firing blowback system shoots each bullet at an increased fire rate. I've messed around with this thing a few times. It doesn't change it like insane amounts. It's not. I would say it's not worth it. Just running these 4 attachments, or red dot, whichever you prefer, I think is the best option. Echo Fire doesn't make it bad. It still is a very good gun. If you put an Echo Fire on it, I still consider it to be S tier. But the Echo Fire is not what made this S tier. It's just a very good gun. All right, since we are done with the assault rifles, we are now going to move on to the submachine guns. We have the MX9. The MX9 I have in C tier. I believe it to be a situational gun. Simply because I think it's just good on certain maps. I'm trying to think of some maps. I could see it be used on maps where taking gunfights against long range weapons. Because this thing isn't bad at long range. It's not bad. I probably would put it in B tier. Actually, I'm making a mid tier list swap actually. The MX9 I'm going to put in B tier. It is the average gun of the submachine guns. It's very average. It's not really used in certain situations. I had it in C tier because I imagined more it'd be used for certain situations more, and I was thinking in my head. But I literally just now I kind of just realized that this shouldn't be in C tier. Because it doesn't deserve to be in C tier, to be honest with you. C tier is actually not that bad. It's just, it's situational, which makes it harder to access. This is just an average gun that you can pull out, not really have a problem. Sometimes it can be very good. You put it in the right hands and you master it, obviously. But as it is, just a very average gun, probably the most average SMG. Moving on, we have the GKS. The GKS, I have an A tier. It is essentially a submachine gun version of the ICR, which has very interesting attachments. Long barrel 2 is essentially makes the bullet velocity go. It essentially makes it so you hit your target faster, which is very key in gunfights, especially at long range. You could essentially contest with an ICR with this gun. To be completely honest with you, and it has grip 2 for reduced flinch. This is essentially an assault rifle in a submachine gun's body, but it does not mean it is bad at close ranges by any means. This thing is still very good at close ranges. I believe its versatility makes this submachine gun A tier weapon. Moving on, we have the Spitfire. The Spitfire I actually had in B tier originally, but this is the weapon that's used for certain situations. This is C tier. We're putting the Spitfire C tier. I can easily see this thing be used on a map like Frequency, putting on double laser sight and then extended mags, and then even a fast mags after that. This gun is very, very good at close range maps. Right now, currently, because I mainly just play competitive, but maps like Summit, maps like Slums, Frequency, very close range, and some hills even on like hard points or dominations, or even control. This gun is just very good. It's only good at close range, in my opinion. I think every other SMG in this category, or SMG, outclasses this gun. I believe it is situational, which is why I have it in C tier. Moving on, we have the Cordite. The Cordite I have an A tier. The Cordite actually got a buff, which actually made it really good. It made it really good, and then that's more competitive. But then if we're talking about pubs, this thing got even better. Also, real quick, I forgot to say, Wildfire and the Spitfire doesn't change it that much. It again, it's just situational. Wildfire essentially makes it max fire rate, so it's really only going to be good at close ranges. So that doesn't really change its tier placement. Actually, I did want to talk about the GKS quad shot. The quad shot actually keeps it in A tier a lot more, I believe. I think it cements itself as the best A tier SMG because the quad shot. It can be very useful, especially with the long barrel. It's not that good. It's not like overpowered to make it into S tier, but thought I should just mention, since I forgot, that the quad shot is actually very good in the GKS and can be used for certain situations. But back to the Cordite, and I was talking more about competitive, where I noticed this thing got buffed. But this thing, out of competitive, is a monster now because you can put rapid fire on it in public matches. So you could run a setup where you put the operator mod on too, and it's a belt fed. So this gun just is very well rounded. It can be used at medium ranges and close ranges, especially with the belt fed, where it's almost impossible to run out of ammo. Essentially, I don't even think you can. So you can, but it's just a very well rounded gun. It's very, very good. It could be in B tier if the patch didn't come out recently, but I think this gun is just very well rounded. It's kind of noob friendly as well, and the belt fed definitely gives it a little bit of a boost as well. So Cordite is in A tier. Moving on to the final SMG, we have the SOG. I have the SOG in S tier. Now, I have the SOG in S tier because simply I think it's the best submachine gun in the game by far. Having attachments like Stock 2 on a submachine gun is insane to have. Insane to have. It makes you so fast paced and so hard to kill. And I didn't want to bring this up, but since we're talking about casual, I have to. Putting on dual wield on this thing is insane. It is crazy. It makes it so good. It makes it overpowered. If I'm being completely honest, it makes it overpowered, and that I would say that if without the dual wield, this still would be an S tier because it's just the best overall SMG. It can outgun, I think, every SMG, maybe besides the GKS at long range, but besides that, this thing can hold its own at any range situation against any other SMG. It's so versatile. So it's very easy to use. And again, because of dual wield, it makes it just that step higher than every other SMG, where it's even if you don't want to use it the normal way, you can pull out the dual wield and just completely shred people in close range maps like frequency. So SOG, I have it S tier. Moving on to the tactical rifles. Now, tactical rifles, I have the Auger at S tier. This thing is just single shot rifles are always very, very good in COD, especially when you have attachments like High Cal 1, High Cal 2, and then especially, did not want to forget about this, the operator mod for this weapon is double tap. It essentially makes it a 2-round burst weapon. With having High Cal on this, it makes it overpowered, especially when you put a High Cal 2 on it. A very strong weapon that you see a lot on maps like Hacienda. That's a big map for this. Icebreaker. When you have like those long range sights, it's just a very, very, it's overpowered. Like it's S tier by far, simply because of the high cal factor and the double tap auger. It is a very strong weapon and deserves to be an S tier. Moving on, we have the ABR. The ABR I have in A tier. It's just a very good gun. It's not weak at all, but it's also not strong. Its attachments don't really have that good of like significance to it. You know, grip is nice, but against a burst, so it's like you don't really need grip on a burst that much. Quick draw is great, obviously. Having stock 1, stock 2 is very nice, and the operator mod is I believe it's the repeater. Yes. It essentially makes the burst a shorter delay, and the hit trigger can be held down, which that makes it really good. It essentially makes the fire rate faster and faster. I believe actually when operation mods were allowed, this was going to be a strat and competitive to use repeater, I believe, but obviously operation mod got banned. But in casual, nothing that makes it overpowered to make it into S tier. It's just a very solid gun. It's just very good. You can hold your own with it against many guns if you're skilled with it. Just a great gun that just has no overpowered qualities about it. Moving on, we have the Swordfish. The Swordfish I have an S tier. Probably not as good the Auger in casual play, but just a very strong weapon. Its fire rate is so nice. You can have high cal on it. But what does make it S tier and not just A tier is the operator mod. You can have a 5-round burst on this. 5-round burst on the Swordfish. It's already having this 5-round burst essentially makes it you can burst people more consistently. And obviously having quick draw 2, it makes it the best tactical rifle at close range. And then high cal obviously, increased damage to headshots. And then, it has a very wide range of sights as well. It's a very versatile tactical rifle. Can be used at close range if needed. Obviously outclasses, I believe, every tactical rifle at long range, maybe not the auger. But it's just undeniable this gun is S tier by far. So moving on from that, we have the LMGs. Light machine guns, I don't play with that much, but I have a good understanding of where I would rank them. Titan, I have S tier. Best LMG in the game. It's like, it's like the LSAT, it's like the M27, it's, it's the RPD, it's the M60, it's every LMG. It's an LMG. I mean, there's nothing more to say. There's always that one LMG in every COD that gets used so much, especially when you have attachments like FMJ1 and FMJ2. Even having 2 extended mags, essentially never run out of ammo. Get on a stock for some more mobility, which is something a lot of LMG players complain about, having low mobility. But the operator mod, I actually don't completely know what it does. It says it suppress enemies near your bullet stream. Now, if this is anything like Battlefield, it kind of like distorts their screen. I actually never messed around with this, so I can't really comment on this. I believe it just it maybe like makes a noise when you shoot close to somebody, so it suppresses them. Um, I don't think it would affect it really that much. Personally, it might increase the damage it shows, but I don't think this. I mean, it's already S tier without it, so it would just make it better. But Titan by far is S tier. Moving on, we have the Hades. The Hades I actually have a B tier. I would say this is kind of like a chainsaw from Ghost. I personally loved it. I actually do like the Hades, and I say it's like the chainsaw from Ghost because the operator mod makes you shoot from your hip. I do believe. Yes, a hip fire focus. It's like the chainsaw from Ghost, which I love personally. It's just a fun gun. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just something you're gonna use when you want to have fun or impress how good you are with LMGs, I would say. Moving on, we have the VKM. The VKM is essentially like a mounted machine gun type deal. It's very. I have it in C tier. I have it in certain situations. Now you're probably wondering, I have high cal. You can put high cal 2 on this. How is it not B tier at least? It's because the fire rate. The fire rate is just abysmal. I mean, look at it. Look at it compared to the Haze and even the Titan. It has terrible fire rate with 50 rounds, which won't go by fast, obviously, because it's very it shoots very slow. The damage is amazing. Very high damage, but also the mobility is just so slow. You're only going to use it for long range maps. Plus the fat barrel, if I do fire smasher shows that, yeah, it essentially makes your bullets have a bigger hitbox, which is nice, but it doesn't really change it to the fact that it's still just a long range gun, mainly. Which again, a map like Hacienda is perfect for a map like that. Moving on, now we have the sniper rifles. The sniper rifles, I have the Paladin at A tier. Probably the most damaging sniper in the game, especially when you put on high cal 1, high cal 2. It's not overpowered. It's just a great weapon. Has a good wide range of attachments, or not attachments, sights, which every sniper does, but again, just a very good weapon. It does not have an operator mod. Nothing to put it over the top. S tier. It's very hard to put snipers in S tier because S tier is reserved for those weapons that are just borderline crazy. So moving on from the Paladin, we have the Outlaw. I have the Outlaw on A tier mainly because of its mobility and what you can put on this weapon. You can put on high cal. You put on stock. You put on high cal. You can put on stock. You put on quick draw. You put on grip. Plus, it does have an operator mod. The operator mod is, I believe, a cylinder, bolt cylinder, and it fires a 3-round burst. It makes it odd to use. It kind of makes it worse depending on how you play with it. I don't really like running with it. The reason why I have it in A tier, again, is because of its mobility. It has very nice mobility, like very nice mobility. I love that about this gun. It's very fun to use, and in pubs you can destroy people with this, especially with having high cal. Moving on, we have the SDM. The SDM I have at C tier. If you had high cal 2 on this thing, I'd have it at A tier. Which I think that'd be a first, having every category of a gun in one tier. But sadly, well, I guess not sadly, high cal 2 is not on the SDM. It has grip 1 and grip 2, which obviously has reduced flinch, and it does have high cal 1, but it doesn't. It's used for situational purposes because again, it's a semi-auto sniper that doesn't have auto aim. So it's just very hard to use at certain ranges, and it's just awkward, and you're only going to use it on certain maps. Like, quickly, let me go through the maps I think you would use it on: Arsenal, Hacienda, Jungle. It's only used for maybe 4 maps, when a gun like the Outlaw could be used for every map. Moving on, we have the Koshika. The Koshika I have an A tier. Great gun. Has quick draw 1, quick draw 2. Great for quick scoping. Has laser sight 1, laser sight 2. So if you're a noob, you can use this and it'll make it very noob friendly. High cal 1 is available on this, and it has a operator mod called the Sturlock, I do believe, and it's precision accuracy while entering ADS, which I believe it makes it easier to quickscope. I do believe, which obviously that makes it A tier almost instantly, with especially attachments like Quick Draw 1 and Quick Draw 2. It's very mobile when it comes to like when you're aiming. Outlaw is very mobile when it comes to moving around the map and maneuvering. This is very mobile when it comes to a more quick scoping type play style and just very fast pace. Moving on from the snipers, we will have the secondaries. Starting off with the secondaries, I have the Strife. I have the Strife at A tier. Great weapon, not bad at all. Can put on FMJ, which I don't recommend, but you can put on long barrel, quick draw, extend mags, laser sight, normal things with a pistol. But I think what actually puts it in A tier and not B tier is the stiletto knife. The stiletto knife, I actually think is underrated. It's banned comp, but it's actually really good in this game. The stiletto knife I actually really like, and I think that bumps it up to A tier, especially if you have like long barrel and then extend mags along with it. This thing can be very, and also it has no fire rate cap, so you can fire as fast as you want. So I believe the Strife is A tier. Moving on to the Garrison. The Garrison I also have in A tier. Great weapon, just overall fantastic weapon, especially with the recent buff, putting a grip on this and then putting on extended mags 1 and rapid fire. You could run around this thing as a sub if you want to put extended mags 2 on this. It's a very just great gun. No operator mod, but I don't believe this thing needs it. It's just it's almost S tier. I will say it's almost S tier, almost. But we do have our first S tier secondary, which I believe to be the Mozu. The Mozu, high damage, revolver, can shoot as fast as you want, has high caliber on it, has 2 long barrels, even has stock on a sub. But what makes it S tier in casual is its operator mod. You have the Skull Splitter, which essentially makes it a one-shot to the head no matter what. So you never will need long barrel again, basically. You would just need grip and essentially the combat scope, and this thing is a sniper at this point. It makes it overpowered in casual because it just, a lot of people don't know how to counter it. They kind of just crumble to this pistol, essentially. You can essentially run this with maybe just not even the grip and just the pistol, the operator mod, and the sniper, or not sniper, the scope, and then run an actual primary that's close range, like maybe the Spitfire. And then you have a very OP setup. So this thing can essentially help you with multiple problems with other guns in the primary section. So I do believe the Mozu is S tier, and the only S tier pistol. Moving on to the shotguns, I have the MOG 12. I have the MOG 12 in A tier. It's the pump action shotgun in this game. Very well rounded, very good. Nothing too special about it. It has a barrel choke, which makes it's basically long barrel too, but it makes the bullet spread smaller. Has a speed reloader, has rapid fire, so you can make this thing a very fast shooting gun. It also has Dragon Breath, which I don't really believe for it to be that overpowered in this game, especially with buffs to flak and tack, which I believe both of them have fire resistance. Might just be flak. So I think at the beginning of this game, this gun was very overpowered, but now it's kind of died down to a more A tier level gun. Moving on to the SG-12, I have this gun in S tier for one reason. One reason only. Well, 2 reasons actually. Max load, and then I think you all know what I'm gonna say here. The flashlight. It's just OP. It essentially turns off auto aim for you if you get hit by it. That's all I'm gonna say about this. This thing is possibly the best gun in the game. Honestly, it's probably the best gun in the game. Moving on to launchers, I have the rocket launcher in C tier because it's only going to be used for certain situations, which is just taking down, things in the sky like a UAV, an attack chopper. It's a very situational gun. And then moving on to our last weapon in the casual tier list, we have the knife. I have the knife in C tier because it's more of a gimmick weapon, but it is still a weapon nonetheless, and I will have it in C tier because it is situational. You can still use this in situations in casual, on small maps like like Summit, surprising your enemies, or frequency, running around, going around the corners, and knifing. So I do believe the knife is at a comfortable C tier. Alright, everybody, we have just finished our Black Ops 4 casual weapon tier list. The competitive weapon tier list will be coming out shortly. I will be doing actually the casual specialist before that to finish out the casual tier list and then move on to competitive and not confuse things. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys.